Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Power of Three with right now just the power of two. We are hopeful that Mentally Divine, the one and only Brian Baez, will join us soon. But I know Brian is exhausted. Kenny just popped right off. He'll be right back, I hope. I know Brian is exhausted. We've had a very long week, but really glad that for everyone out there who's joining us, we really do have a good show, regardless of who's here, baby. If it's just me, it's going to be just me, but it's going to be damn good. Please drop some notes in the comments. Let us know who you are. Say hello. I know that many of you automatically you see us pop up. You see us on the X. Kitty's coming back shortly. He's loaned back. He's loaned back. You see us on the X. Do me a favor, and we love you on the X. But if you follow us on YouTube, follow us and watch us on YouTube. It's going to be a good show. You can follow my page. You can watch on my page, Kenny's page, or Brian's page. We stream live to all three. But the X platform doesn't in any way give us any kind of support. Even if you look at our posts, you will see tons of trolls, tons of attacks, tons of negativity. But on the YouTube platform, we are at least compensated for what we do. We are not at a place where we're trying to ask people to actually give us or donate any money to us because there's a whole lot of things we be doing with our money, mainly saving it. But we are asking you to please watch us on our YouTube channels and engage with us there. We promise you it's going to be a good show. Tonight's show includes an exclusive interview with Congressman Maxwell Frost. It isn't live, it's pre-recorded, but it's damn good. It's kind of funny. And I think that you're going to enjoy it. Before we begin, let's talk about some of our good friends who are with us. We got people here, Higher Label, thank you, are here. We got Baltimore in the house, Be More Down, Be More Down. We were close to you, baby, on yesterday. We are going to, Kenny, I'm going to come up. And I was thinking about doing it in April, but I'm definitely going to do it for CBC week. And I'm going to actually spend some time there. And I want to definitely make sure we go to Baltimore to get some like to get their crabs. And I want to get the whole
Let's talk about it.
experience. Lakia, I want you to tell me, like, what do I need to drink with crabs? Like, now I'm thinking if I'm going to eat crabs, I need to be eating them and drinking Bloody Marys. But you tell me what the right thing to drink. Latasha is here. Well,
Look, I don't
giving Brian the
drink.
big mama. He don't, y'all, for real. He really don't drink.
It's
But that's
gonna be
okay.
more than likely a lemonade or some water with my crab. Okay, but the crazy thing is, I've been here for 2 years and I have yet to go to Baltimore and get some good crab. So we're gonna be doing this experience together.
Oh my God, 2 years you have been in Baltimore to get crab? Well, we're gonna definitely get the crabs.
I've
Look at
been
my
to
Frank
Baltimore to get
Sale
my
is
hair
there.
cut.
So now I'm gonna get my crabs. And I'll drink your fair share. I promise you I always do. We got Chicago in the house. And so love it. I'm glad you're liking the videos. We got some good stuff. Again, Latasha, hey Kenny, love you. And Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn in the house. I go to New York once a year and I love Brooklyn. I've always been a fan. Happy, happy, happy. Water, Pepsi, or whatever you like. I do like a good Bloody Mary. Now I'm a vodka guy. I'm a vodka guy. And shout out to the GOAT, the Al Green. That's what I'm talking about. And that's a great. We're gonna get to Al, but before we get to Al, we're gonna talk first and foremost about another Texas congressman, and we're talking about the one and only Sylvester Turner, Representative Turner. And what's amazing, Kenny, is that we both had a chance to meet him last night. That was my first time meeting him. I don't know if it was it yours. That was your first time.
That was my first time actually meeting Representative Sylvester Turner. And one thing that I can say about Sylvester Turner, he is a real tried and true public servant because he served his constituents all the way until his last breath. I don't know a lot of people knew, but he actually had one of his constituents from one of his districts actually show up. Her name was Angela. Her child has a disorder, a special and rare disorder that is potential life threatening for her, and she relies on Medicaid. So he wanted to bring his constituent all the way up to DC to look Donald Trump in the eye and let him know that if you continue to strip away funding to Medicaid, you are going to possibly take the life of my daughter from the same party that claims to be pro life. This daughter is only 2 years old. In her hospital bed, Medicaid covers $16,000 a month for all of her needs. And this woman says that she has a degree, she has a really good paying job, but she can't afford 16,000 a month. People need to understand that like some people think that when people are on Medicaid, they think that we're destitute or we're scraping the barrel of the bottom of the barrel. But these are regular everyday Americans that rely on Medicaid that keep a lot of Americans alive. But RIP to this amazing public servant. You're truly going to be missed.
You know what? And I think, Kenny, first off, kudos to you. Like, you give everybody, Kenny literally got a powerful, very brief, a very powerful 30-second interview from Congressman Turner, and he left all of us a powerful call to action. I don't know if you guys follow my Substack. I hope you follow my YouTube. Look, follow my YouTube, This Activist. Please follow the YouTube. I have 201,000 followers on TikTok. TikTok is going away. Kenny's largest platform is it your biggest platform is YouTube, is TikTok now too, right, Kenny?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, TikTok, your longest lasting platform is Twitter. You have a huge following on Instagram, but my biggest platform is TikTok, followed by Instagram, then last is Twitter. But all three of us need to build up our YouTube. So please follow all of us on YouTube. Brian that came and fucked up the flow. He just waking up. He ain't cleaned his ass.
I clean my ass now. Hold on.
No,
I'm
talking
talking about freshly right now. Yeah, his face. He may have been taking a shower. His face does look clean. But I'm still hearing an echo. But Brian, fix the echo. But so here's the thing, guys. So we want you to follow us on all platforms. I'm gonna load up, Kenny, or try to load up the video of Congressman Turner that you did, so we can all hear it. And again, it was so many of the congressional leaders who were there brought their special guests, and their special guests had a powerful, powerful story. And they really brought, and I hate that more people couldn't hear the stories behind the impacts of what Trump is doing. I wrote a dedication article to Congressman Turner, and it's gonna post on my Substack in the morning. My Substack is called The Colored Section. Free to subscribe. All the content is free. Please follow that Substack. Wait, Brian, I'll be back, I guess, in a moment. Kenny, can you just, while I attempt to load this up, what are some of your thoughts about your overall experience during yesterday? Working with the Congressional Black Caucus, being in the spirit room. What are some of your thoughts?
I felt like it was the biggest Black family reunion that we've ever had. I mean, I enjoyed myself. As tired as I was, and to the earliest crack of dawn that we stayed there, I honestly enjoyed myself reaching out to congresswomen and congressmen, telling us exactly what they're doing. They were talking about they just need 3 more Republican Congress people to come to their side in order to stop this Donald Trump legislation. And their message is to tell people that if you are in one of these red districts, and if you have a Republican congressman, you need to call them. And you need to let them know that they need to vote against all this legislation that's stripping away Medicare, stripping away SNAP benefits, all of these things. The power is with the people, truly. I think they had a consistent messaging talking about the Congress, the courts, and the community. Meaning, what Congress is going to do is they're going to use the courts to battle this administration and challenge them to get all of these legislations and these executive orders struck down. And then the community, which is us, meaning we are going to come together and we're going to organize and we're going to use our voices and we're going to use our platforms to hold Congress accountable. And we are going to show up in 2026 and flip the House and the Senate blue.
That's the work, and that's what we're hoping to do. It's going to be a fight, and I think, Brian, that's going to kind of cue us up into the next session after we see these powerful words from Congressman Turner. Fingers crossed that it's going to play and we get good sound. No sound? Do you hear any sound?
No.
It's okay. I have another
No
option.
sound yet.
You have to take it. Come on. Some of these people should be on the front line. I'll be on the front line. But my voice, with that iron voice, okay, you have the power. Don't sit at home and act like you have to take it. Come on. Some of these people will be on the front line. I'll be on the front line. But my voice without your voice is not enough. We have to push back, stand up, fight back. And I'm not talking about the next year's election. I'm talking about right now. Right now, you guys.
That was literally one of Congressman Turner's final calls to action. Literally, I feel so blessed to have been in the room with him, in the space with him. I'm so thankful that God aligned this for us and that we were able to capture that, because I thought that was very motivational. Like, he speaks generation. This man has lived his life. He lived and got, he maintained God's promise of 7 score. That's the biblical promise of years. If you live your life well and honor thy mother and father, 7 score. He died at 70 years old. He got his 7 score. And he left us a challenge for those of us who remain to continue to use our voice and to continue to stand up and to continue to fight. Last night, and may he rest in paradise. May he rest in paradise. He's earned his rest. Last night, we saw members of Congress fighting, Democrats fighting against a president that some will say is unpopular. I say that he is unfortunately too popular. Gentlemen, what did you think about what we heard last night from President Trump's state of delusion?
Ken, you want to go first since you started that hashtag?
Yeah, Kenny, you started. This is your title, State of Delusion.
See, look, all I heard was delusional. Apparently, we're spending $8 million on transgender mice. This man is delusional, talking about how he promised that he was going to cut the cost of eggs and cut the cost of everyday goods. But all we're seeing is the goods go up. And then he's not making it better, being the fact that he can't make up his mind whether he wants to implement tariffs or not. And then also on top of that, we're literally watching a dysfunction in the Congress. You literally just seen Speaker Johnson's chief of staff just get arrested on DUI that same night. I mean, this is not normal, you guys. And I'm glad that Al Green led the charge and called him out on his foolishness. And I'm glad that people like Maxwell Frost, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and others who follow suit, Nakima Williams, decided to leave, because who would want to sit there for 2 hours and listen to a whole pack of damn lies?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the reality was that, and you guys know this, we were watching it for a little bit, and then once we had the folks start pouring into the room, that was our main focus, because we wanted to make sure we give the information to the people and get folks the amplification that they needed. I think that it was enough for me to hear all just the little bit of lies that we heard in the first 45 minutes of the broadcast. And I think that he went and spoke for maybe 2 hours, and people, even Britt Hume on Fox News I caught clips afterwards, was saying it was the longest partisan speech that they've ever heard. So, and that's Fox News. And when you hear Fox News saying that shit, I mean, it is what it is. But no, I think that, we knew it was going to have a lot of lies. But I was more focused on the people who came in the room afterwards, especially after Al Green was able to, stand up and speak out. I'm glad the Sergeant of Arms, though, didn't put his hands on Al Green, because that would have been, I think, a different story. But we did hear that they were trying to process him afterwards.
Well, yeah, that's something to really talk about. What were your initial thoughts, gentlemen, about what we saw from Representative Green of Texas and what followed? Like, what were your initial thoughts?
It only takes one. It only takes one. I feel like he showed true courage. He showed what a lot of people have been wanting to see from Democrats. We want to see our representatives exude the emotions and the fear and the anger and the frustration that we have with this administration. And Al Green did exactly what we need to see from Democrats. A lot of people are tired of the respectability politics. We are not in normal times. It's time to take the gloves off and go the fuck off. And that's what Al Green did. And because he led the charge, we saw that other Democrats followed suit and walked the hell out of that goddamn room.
Right. That's exactly right. And yeah, it took everybody by surprise. There were some Congress people that also talked about this. And I heard that they felt the same way, that they didn't necessarily know that was going to happen at that moment, but that they were happy that it did. And I was super happy to see it too. You know, I think that we're always talking about that we're looking for that fight. We're looking to see that physical manifestation for it, and Al Green really did that. You know, just standing up, and I mean, he was peaceful about it, and you know, he made sure that he was just calling out the lies. I mean, and not in a different way than Marjorie Taylor Greene was doing it. So let's talk about the fact that there was a double standard as it relates to when Biden was giving his speech. Marjorie Taylor Greene was over here yelling like a hyena, and Biden didn't have the sergeant of arms, you know, remove her.
But maybe he should have. So I
agree.
have a different perspective. And let me. So one thing, I definitely stand with Representative Green. So let me clarify that first, and I think that he did the right thing, but know that the right thing that he did is going to come with consequences. There are a lot of people saying they all should have left. We can't have every single Democratic member of Congress under a censure. We can't. Like, he made a sacrifice for the rest of the body, and he made an example of the rest of the body. Now, he could have maybe walked out. That I agree with. But to have disrupted in the way that he did, which was the right way of protesting, don't mistake what I'm saying. Everybody couldn't have done that. Like, they couldn't have all disrupted, because the consequences would have been, I think, too dire for the party that would have stalled the opposition that needs to come. The only hope that we have as the American people is that we can support our Democratic lawmakers in flipping 5 Republicans in the House to vote with the Democrats. That's the only hope we have for the next 2 years. There's no other hope. There is no other path forward. There is no other way it can happen. Every single Democrat elected to the House of Representatives can stand up, can boycott, can scream, can shout, can fall out, but they're not going to achieve a thing because they do not have constitutionally, legally, the authority to pass a law. They don't have the votes. They do not have the votes. They have to get Republicans to work with them. Now, how they do that from their perspective, as far as I'm concerned, is politics. You find a way to politic it in. It's a tough road to hoe. So to even that work on their end, in Zach's opinion, is limited. That's where we need to come in. If you're in a state with Republican elected officials, you should be calling those elected officials and applying pressure to them. There are too many people saying Democrats didn't do enough or Democrats aren't doing enough. What the fuck more can they do? Why in the hell are you not talking about what Republicans aren't doing? Why is it that the onus for morality and acting appropriately and being respectful and fighting for the American people has to fall on Democrats when they don't have the power? I can understand you saying that when the Democrats have the White House, when the Democrats have at least one of the 2 parties of Congress, but they do not have any of that right now. It's Republicans. And we have to put pressure on Republicans to do their fucking job for the American people, especially if you live in a vulnerable seat or a swing district, because the Republicans as a whole, 90+% of them feel as though Trump is doing a great job.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick, and I'm going to be the leftist in this moment.
Oh, let me make you big. We love a big leftist.
So here's my thoughts. Okay, I understand everything you're saying. Now, I agree wholeheartedly. However, we're not in the same space. The problem is Democrats have to meet people where they are. A lot of people don't know what Democrats are doing. So it is, unfortunately, Democrats' job to meet the people where they are in order to put the message out there so that people can see the work that they're actually doing, see the inroads that they're making, see the lawsuits that they're winning. So Democrats have to show up. So when we're sitting here saying we need to see Democrats more, I don't see a problem with that. We need to see Democrats show up on the Shade Room. Unfortunately, as much as I hate that place, they have to show up in these spaces. As much as I don't really care about the neighborhood talk or Hollywood Unlocked, they need to show up to these places. They need to do these podcasts. They need to show up to our platform. We should have had.
Listen, they should show up to our platform. Listen, Democrats, we're here to have your back because we care about educating the American people and pushing the work forward, period. It's when you fuck up, that's when we'll call you out. But if you ain't fucking up, we don't call you out. But Kenny, listen, you do not, just because Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett got a good, fair shot on the Breakfast Club doesn't mean that Charlemagne isn't the same asshole he's always been. Just because
he could be that asshole, but in order to be a congressman, and I'm supposed to be representing constituents.
Kenny, these platforms are going to sell us out every time. They are not on our side. They're not on the side of the people. They are on the side of of corporate greed. the shade room, the media talk, all this, they're not going to do right by our Congress people. They can go on those platforms and they could be easily made a fool of. They could be easily having clips manipulated in the same way that Leonard McKelvey manipulated clips of Vice President Kamala Harris. We cannot trust them. They are not a part of an appropriate media ecostructure. To me, we need that infrastructure built from the ground up. Those platforms may be popular with the people, but they're not valid because they're not honest, in my opinion.
Well, and now let me.
But
play
if we
the middle.
leave that space open, we're cutting our ass short, because here's the situation: the misinformation on those platforms is still going to stand. Regardless, they have to still show up to these platforms to cut Charlamagne's ass in two. If I'm going to be a congressman, I'm going to be an elected official, I need to be media trained. I need to know how to dance with the damn devil. I need to know how to call them out on their lies. Unfortunately, there is more things that you have to take on as a congressman or congresswoman in this moment that may not have been originally on your resume, that may not have been originally geared for your position. Now is the time that, okay, you are a public official. We are literally going through tyranny and dictatorship. We cannot play the old school game anymore.
I agree. And now let me play the middle, because usually I'm on Kenny's side and Zach is on his side and Kenny's in the middle. I'm going to play the middle, and I'm going to say that I think that I 100% agree with the fact that we need to go to spaces. And I've said this even before, right? Like when Kamala Harris was going to Fox News and Pete Buttigieg was going to Fox News and it was still in the candidacy, I was strongly for, and still will be for it, that we go into those spaces that are not for us. I mean, Ken Martin was saying the same thing. He was like, we have to go to spaces that are not friendly for us because we have to get the message out to people no matter what. They're going to have their spin, they're going to have their whatever, but the reality is you put out that information. Now, here's what I will say about the censorship. I don't give a fuck if people censor. You can censor all the Democrats. That doesn't matter. If you look at what the actual thing about the censure, what censure really means, and I'm going specifically to the House government website, censure registers the House deep disapproval of a member's conduct that nevertheless does not meet the threshold for expulsion. So you're not getting removed from Congress, right? Once the House approves the sanction by majority vote, the censured member must stand in the well of the House. Now listen to this. Stand in the well of the House. The bar of the House was the 19th century term, but in the well of that, you just stand in the House and you just listen to the speaker or the presiding officer read aloud the censure resolution as a preamble, as a public rebuke. Bitch, you can motherfucking rebuke me all the motherfucking way that you motherfucking want. I don't do nothing over here. It's basically a slap in the motherfucking wrist. So if you want to read a rebuke for 215 members of Congress, what the hell does that do? What I'm saying is, if people are making that the commentary of, well, not everybody could have walked out with Al Green because then they would have been censored too. What the fuck is it? Are you going to stand there and read for 215 people? I don't care about that. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't remove me from my power.
How does it impact their committee assignments? How does it impact their impact their ability to? I think that when Marjorie Taylor Greene was censored and it impacted their committee assignments, and it impacted their ability to vote and be active in those committees. But I'll verify.
Yeah. And I heard about that too, but I'm looking at the specific.
I hear what they're letting us see, but again, we got to go into, because again, I would have been fine with what you just read, but I'm remembering when we've actually had congressional members censored and how they were not able to actively participate in their committees for the remainder of that term. They're pretty much silenced.
I do believe that you're right.
To have our Democrats to be silenced, we can't afford it. We don't have enough.
No. I think she was censored at some point, Marjorie Taylor Greene, now that I'm remembering it. But to your point, and like I said, we do have to show up to these spaces. Like you brought up Pete Buttigieg. He shows up to these spaces. And let me just use this as an example. Even us on this panel, as much as we hate a lot of damn people, we're going to have to show up in spaces that are going to make us feel uncomfortable, because this is exactly how Candace Owens was able to squeeze and whittle her way back into our damn community. I've heard people literally say that, oh, this is the first time I agree with Candace Owens. This is how they infiltrate. We have to show up in these uncomfortable spaces. We have to have these hard conversations with these people, and we have to pull people to our side, especially people who actually show up and vote. Mm-hmm. We have to change the hearts of a lot of Americans, unfortunately.
And I mean, I get, again, I just think I can't agree to the fullest extent because I don't want to legitimize platforms that are meant to hurt our community. And just because they are doing the right thing now, it doesn't undo the damage they've done and the damage they're willing to do again when the time comes. The leopards will eat your face.
Yeah.
The leopards will eat your face, and so they're playing a game with us right now. And it's like, oh yeah, we're all about democracy because the pendulum has swung a certain way. But as soon as we start giving them platforms, letting our followers go, they're encouraging people to trust them again. They're gonna switch right back. It's just like MSNBC. Let's go ahead now and start watching MSNBC because they've got what they wanted. What they wanted was a Trump administration so they could pump ratings out of the American people from having us watch with anxiety and shit ourselves. So now they have viewers coming back because they got Rachel Maddow on the show. People are praising Rachel Maddow for great commentary and great news. Rachel Maddow could have rolled her ass up out of that motherfucking cabinet where she writing that bullshit ass book about Parnas and been her ass on TV 100 days when Kamala first announced she was running. She's doing the first 100 days of Trump with my Rachel Maddow face. She could have given us the last 100 days of Kamala Harris if she really gave a fuck about democracy. But we're giving them back the ratings. We're giving them back the views. We cannot trust these people. That's all I'm saying. And so I think it's a delicate balance. There may be some people who are phenomenal at this work, like Jasmine Crockett. Representative Crockett can be with the best of them, any of them. But there are other members of Congress that may not be as skilled, that may not be as dexterous, that may not be as agile, who maybe shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I did speak. I did have a really good conversation with Representative Lauren Underwood. And I want to say this, that not everything that makes it to camera is the only thing that we care about, right? Like, I had a great conversation with Representative Underwood off camera, and in our conversation, we talked about, like, we got real. We got very real about the state of Democrats, being shown as, again, that physical manifestation on camera, and one of the things that she really put into perspective for me was, you got to understand the generation of people that you're dealing with. I mean, it just comes with it. It just is what it is. Folks that are like, you are demanding folks to come on camera and to be as comfortable and to be as, agile and have all these words. They didn't grow. Some of these people grew up in a generation where there were no computers, there were no phones. They're not digital natives.
Or even where they were taught by their families to not speak up, to work hard and to achieve their goals in a different way. And they were able to achieve them. That's why they're in Congress.
Right. And so with that is they're not as comfortable, and they don't look at, and you can see it. They're not as comfortable now. Like, it's a learning curve. That you see them on camera now and they're making videos and they come off as like, okay, well, it looks like they're looking for their footing or they're finding their groove, or, and even some people, like, it's even when I noticed it, even in the editing process, folks that I was interviewing that, aren't the big names that we know, I was putting together the content and I'm just like, I got them out of that space, right? And that's not necessarily,
that's also because you're a good interviewer, but more importantly, it's because you're doing with the right intention. You're trying to educate an audience. You're not trying to misalign the Democratic Party. That's my argument. Leonard McKelvey and the Shade Room and the bullshit, all the garbage media, their job is to misalign. They're trying to hurt the leaders of the Democratic Party. They're trying to mislead the American people for their own personal gain. That's what I'm saying. You are getting it out of them because you care about the people. These motherfuckers don't care. A good question was brought up. So who do we trust? Listen, that's a personal
trust no one.
decision. Well, you know what? That's right. You don't trust even the fucking power three. You check and you verify. At all of us, you check and you verify because even we can be wrong or misinformed. And so you check all of us. Absolutely. You check and verify. But it's also a personal choice about who are your personal trusted voices. I am a fan, Zachary Kirk, of Roland Martin. I trust Roland Martin. I think that Roland Martin will sometimes, he's a Scorpio, so he can have an axe to grind sometimes. He can be upset, mean a little bit sometimes. But I think his intentions for the Black community and being the voice of Black America is genuine. I think he takes that responsibility very serious. And there are other journalists, even on mainstream television, like Lawrence O'Donnell. I trust Lawrence O'Donnell. I'm a fan of Lawrence O'Donnell. I'm a fan of David Muir and ABC News. I'm a fan of what they do. I was always a fan of it, 60 Minutes. We'll see how they go. So it's a personal choice that you make in terms of content creators. I value some of the reporting that Under the Desk News gives. I'm a fan of AB. I am legally hyped. So there are people like that. I think that's what you have to do is identify your trusted voices and count on them for the insight.
And speaking of trust but verify, because I went and looked it up. Marjorie Taylor Greene in 2021 was not censored. There was a separate motion that was brought to the table by Debbie Wasserman Schultz from Florida to remove Greene from her assignments. It was a separate resolution because of her specific conspiracy theories and racist comments about anti-Semitism, about these Jewish space lasers that were creating fires and all of that. And so it's important to know that 11 Republicans voted with Democrats. It was a bipartisan kind of vote, and it was 230 votes to whatever the other total was. So that was a separate motion. It was not the censured. Censured, again, is just you sit there and listen to the rebuke in the House. So again, for me, in my perspective, that is a complete, and there's a different threshold to meet that resolution of removing someone from committee assignments. Had it been if you got censured and it was something where you were losing all that power in these committee assignments, we cannot do that. But if it's just you're going to rebuke people because you want to punish them because they're going against your fearless quote unquote king and leader, that's something completely different. And I agree with that. But again, the reality is the reality, and folks who walked out in solidarity with Al Green and came to the spin room immediately to make sure that they were giving their information and the messaging, in a non-traditional way, because traditionally what happens is you go into that, spin room and it's the regular media. But the fact that we were given that opportunity, the fact that we were given that access, the fact that folks saw our value, and it's not just after the congressional joint address, it was actually before that too, right? And so we had folks come in and filter in even during the day. Folks wanted to see it. We were told many times over during the day that folks wanted to speak with us,
and give credit where credit is due, right? Like, yes, give credit to Congresswoman Lauren Underwood of Illinois was the thought leader behind recreating what Congresswoman Maxine Waters had once created called Black Media Row, but it was done as a spin room. Congresswoman Waters had like Black Media Row, where you had Black media had their own little special section, because you would have mainstream press, but then you had Black press, like you had your Roland Martin, you had your Ebony Magazine, you had TV One, you had your BT, and this was the modernized, updated version of that. And so Congresswoman Underwood, it harkens back to Congresswoman Waters, but it's been revitalized and brought by Representative Underwood. So and then of course the congressional Democrats saw the value. Also wanting to give credit to the Congressional Black Caucus, because they put a lot of energy and a lot of sponsorship in this and a lot of investment in this to really make it happen. And of course, wanting to thank our umbrella organization, Chorus Newsroom, for allowing us to also be there and to have a strong presence. And really, just again, the House Democrats.
Right. Exactly.
What I
they're really putting in some work. They understand.
Yeah, what I didn't see as much of, though, I didn't see. I've been looking at footage and coverage of the House Democrats, the Senate Democrats. They didn't have as diverse of a coalition of content creators.
They did not, and they had some folks there that some big names that we know.
I didn't want to talk to them. Oh, you mean the senator? You're not talking about the senators. Oh, okay.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the content creators.
Oh, okay.
The content creators, there were some big names that we know, but I did not see a diverse array of content creators.
I didn't see a Black person there.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't see not one. No. There wasn't diversity and inclusion.
I didn't invite one Black content creator to their event.
Nope. No, I did not.
But isn't that under Schumer though? That's his fault. There's a difference. When you have a Black minority leader, when you have a Black minority leader, then minorities might be able to get seen. See, I know some people say that they want to get rid of Hakeem, but there's some things when you see Black people, because I was invited by Hakeem's team. Those are the people who reached out to me. So there's that.
I was very blessed to have a one-on-one sit-down interview with Minority Leader Jeffries that I'm going to drop on my YouTube. So if you don't follow my YouTube, follow the YouTube. Please follow the YouTube, The Zactivist. And I'm going to drop that interview. It's going to be, I think it's really good. It was really insightful. And I walked away with a much deeper understanding of him. And also, gentlemen, I walked away with a deeper understanding of my work and my role in supporting this man. I walked away with a newfound sense of purpose for him. Was there
So we
anyone that you
double
met
down on we
yesterday?
sticking with Hakeem.
Well, you know what, Victor? We were able to hear Brian. I don't think you were downstairs, Kenny, doing your interview with Congresswoman Brown, but Brian and I heard a really great speech from a director of the Congressional Black Caucus named is Victor. And he gave a phenomenal speech. And basically, what he was saying was kind of how there were some members of the Congressional Black Caucus who had decided to not attend. Like my Congressman, Hank Johnson, who just was not going to even be in the address. And there were like a good number of members of the CBC. There were other members of the CBC who were going to be there because they wanted to be seen and they wanted to make sure that they were getting the information from the horse's mouth so they could be representing their constituents. It was a different perspective. But here's the point, is that you will never hear members of the Congressional Black Caucus talk badly or in a way that is ununified of any other member because they know there is strength and unity. The Congressional Black Caucus is the strongest caucus in the House and is the most unified caucus in the House by design. And so I felt very empowered by that. And to have these Black people represent me, even if they're not, luckily one of them, they are my district, even if they weren't, as a Black man in America, I feel represented by those leaders. I feel all of them. Shontel Brown isn't my congresswoman, but I feel as though she speaks for me. Lauren Underwood isn't my congresswoman, but I feel as though she speaks for me. And meeting them in person just reaffirmed that. These people are truly reflective of us, of our community, and of our wants and needs. And so Hakeem Jeffries is a minority leader, but not only a minority leader, a member of this caucus that they value, that they respect, that they believe in. They know him better than me. And if they rally behind this man, if they have made the decision to protect this Black man and uphold this Black man, Zachary Kirk too will uphold and protect this Black man.
I want to lift a comment that I see there. Contessa Green said, "How did you guys feel about making a little boy an honorary Secret Service agent?" I think is the little boy. I think they're talking about the little boy who had cancer, who was wearing the police outfit that was wearing. They were trying to glorify him and try to say, well, he had cancer. My thing was, and I think a lot of people, the great debate that was seen on social media about it was the fact that how is this administration really going to be cutting cancer funding research? Okay, and to literally save lives, and at the same time uplifting this little boy with cancer. I really didn't understand it. And to be honest with you, I caught this clip afterwards because I didn't see it in the moment. We were again too worried about making sure we were uplifting the people in the room. This came after, right? After the whole Al Green situation. I don't know. What did y'all think about that? Did y'all see the clip afterward?
Yeah, I've seen it today. I feel it was a touching moment. Let's not take that away.
Was it? What was the moment? Talk to me about the moment.
It's a touching moment. Here's this Black kid who's dying of cancer, who was bullied because he has cancer. And because he has, he has showings of the signs. It was a touching story. Everyone who is fighting that battle with the reality of what's going to probably happen at the end of that battle deserves to be uplifted in whatever way we can. So that's a beautiful and amazing thing. And I'm thankful that Donald Trump did it. I don't care that he probably did it for self-serving reasons and to deflect. I'm just
what was the self-serving? What was the self-serving though?
Probably the fact that he cut cancer research funding and that the Republican Party is getting a lot of negative blowback from that, and they should. As we have allowed Elon Musk to go in and slice and dice at will without information, without context, without understanding, critical components of American care and American service and support are being eliminated, like funding for cancer and childhood cancer. So it was a political move. I'm sure. I'm glad the child had the moment. His family and parents had the moment. That's always the best thing about these addresses, are the fact that everyday Americans get to be uplifted. But that it is fucked up how Trump deflects. I just hope that the reality of what his budget cuts are doing will not be lost, or proposed budget cuts, because again, it's not approved just yet.
Right. Yeah. And they
Oh
also
no,
had
I'm
that.
kind of with the comments in the bottom. It's exploiting to me. It's very exploiting. I just don't agree. Using a child as a prop is just something that is just inconceivable. I mean, this man is just diabolical. He's demented. Something is very wrong with this man for him to use this child as a prop in order to score political points during the State of the Union, because he's using this as a prop while also cutting cancer research and cancer funding, while also lying to the American people about the fact that he hasn't produced anything but stripping things away from us since he's gotten office. He hasn't produced anything. So this was a distraction. This is the shiny thing that he's trying to use. And this is the very thing that old boy used when he was holding a child when he didn't want to be questioned. What's his name? The liar, pants on fire. He accosted me with a child. He was literally kicked out of Congress in the 118th Congress.
You're talking about the one who did the drag?
Yes. I can't think of his name. Isn't he so irrelevant now that I can't even think of his name? Right? George Santos.
Yeah.
George Santos.
What I love, though, is that he has become so irrelevant, right? Somebody who was dominating news cycles, once they're out of Congress, just fades away into the obscure hell they belong. So I'm thankful about that. That's a good news for the day. Was this good news for the day? Elise Locken, a lot of people on social media thought she did a great job. People I love, oh, she did a great job. She met the moment. There's I'm not going to say a thing right now. I'm going to open the floor up to you, gentlemen. What are our thoughts on Elise Locken's response?
Elise Locken, I said this the day that she was chosen to do the address, the rebuttal by Chuck Schumer, that she was not it. I disagreed wholeheartedly. I thought that there were better ways to use that position. I think for me it would have been better for John Ossoff to do it, because he needs that boost. He needs that ability to show that he can lead in a moment like this. Particularly, he's coming up for re-election, and it's going to be a hard fought battle, especially if he goes against Brian Kemp, who's now governor of Georgia. There were better choices. I think she harkened back to very Ronald Reagan and Republican ideals. She talked about the fact that we need to just kind of it sounded very Republican to me. It sounded very conservative. It sounded very play to the center, and I'm like, well, it's very interesting to me. Very interesting to me, given the article we saw with that Third Way organization, Politico.
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
A lot of people do not know Elise Locken and her politics. There's some amazing things about this woman that are extremely impressive. The fact that she served our country, the fact that she worked across the aisles before she was in the Congress, but she worked under George W. Bush with the Iraq strategy. But those types of things and her military experience and the alliances that she had previously to getting into Congress are things that make her probably very competitive in a moderate district. But to me, make me a little bit question as to why she was given this opportunity as a new member elected in to the Senate. I think that Elise Locken, and I'm going to just say this clearly here, and I know people in the comments may not agree. I now understand, and I'm ready for the backlash. I'll just sit here and take it. I think she is a Republican in blue, a Republican in blue clothing, and I say that and I don't say that based on one speech. I don't say that based on the fact that she helped George W. Bush with the Iraq strategy. I say that based on how she's voted. Elise Locken supports the death penalty. Elise Locken did not support or vote for student loan forgiveness. Elise Locken has had multiple votes and multiple perspectives that fully align to the Republican Party. And I don't understand how someone who has voted consistently against the Biden administration while serving in the United States House of Representatives would be given such a platform. I don't see it. I don't see her being competitive in anything. I think she's got her seat. She's fine where she is. She's a new member of the Senate. She's going to be there for 6 years. years. Why give her this opportunity? It makes me question not Elise Slotkin, but Chuck Schumer. And I hate to talk about this man 2 weeks in a row, but it makes me question him. It makes me question his judgment because he made this decision. This is his choice. He made this choice. And you guys are saying names in the comments, other people that we know would have been better. We know could have used this as a true springboard to other elements of political greatness and aspire to greatness. But we got Slotkin. I'm questioning the leaders.
Yeah, I mean, and I think their argument, because I'm looking at, I always preempt the argument. Their argument was, well, she outperformed a lot of the districts that the presidential ticket did not get. You know, that she. But if you look down at it, she was saying the same thing. She outperformed in Dearborn, Michigan, as an example, right? But here's the thing. The problem with it was she said the same thing Kamala Harris said. The only difference was, I read in the strategy, she had her team use micro-targeting strategies in those areas to put out statements when she talked about more pro-Palestine called ceasefire statements and sound bites. And she outperformed in those districts.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I call her. I keep get out. I mean, this is horrible to say. Please forgive me. I have always confused her with Elise Stefanik. What's the difference? What's the difference?
So the point is, Elisa Slotkin. Look, Elisa Slotkin outperformed in some of those districts that she used micro-targeting, which I think, again, that's their argument, that because she did well in certain areas that, you know, she outperformed. And so let's use her as an example and tokenize that. That's their argument, I think.
Their argument is to shift to the right.
That's right. You're using these Reagan commentary, and like, we haven't had great Democratic presidents you can pull from. Like, Reagan was in any way a great president, period. Somebody that you idolize. I will tell you.
Reagan used to be their Trump.
Right.
Like, Reagan used to be the Republican Trump back in the day.
Trump. Reagan was certainly my mom's Trump, my grandmother's Trump. Like, he was the worst thing that could have ever happened to black people in America, according to the women who raised me.
You know who's, and some people were making this in the making this comment on Twitter. They were saying, well, who is the Democrat Ronald Reagan? And it's FDR. FDR.
I mean, FDR is a cut above all of them, in my opinion. Like, he's at the next level. So to me, he's significantly above a Reagan. I would probably say it's more along the lines of a Bill Clinton. Because I don't think Reagan was that great of a president, but he was good enough, and he achieved enough, just like Bill Clinton achieved enough. But from there we go to the actual lies and commentary of the actual address. Was there anything that you guys have seen that was said? I know we did not get a chance to like deeply watch, but in looking at clips and going back or watching today, were there any things that you saw that just really, like, this was the most egregious lie told? And I can start. For me, it was about, again, they're refusing to admit. Actually, that was a really great. I think it's the next slide. This really great clip from our friends at Fact Post. And I don't know if you guys watching know this, but Fact Post,
I love that.
The people that run this account used to run the Kamala Wins, or what was the
Kamala HQ? Kamala HQ.
The Kamala HQ team now runs Fact Post. Same wonderful, young, talented content creators. And they said right off the bat, 0 mentions of healthcare affordability. 0 mentions of housing affordability, 0 mentions of veterans, 0 mention of prescription drug costs. All bullshit. This man ran on to steal the election by lying to the American people. All untruths. He said he was going to address these things. He did mention eggs, and Brian, I thought about you when I saw that clip, because he's saying how egg prices are getting ready to go down. Brian, why are egg prices getting ready to go down?
Because Turkey is going to be sending 30 million pounds of eggs. And if you've noticed, there's a report already that came out on Fox News that vindicated what I said about 3 weeks ago.
Who ordered the eggs for the people?
Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
Donald Trump didn't do shit. If it was up to Donald Trump, you motherfuckers wouldn't have a goddamn egg to shit out of a chicken's ass. There would be no eggs.
Right.
No powdered eggs, no liquid eggs, no damn eggs, no yolkless eggs, no Waffle House eggs. 2 mentions of the Gulf of America, 3 mentions of taking over Greenland, 3 mentions of Elon Musk, and 5 mentions of tax handouts for the ultra wealthy, 6 mentions of Panama Canals, and 13 mentions of Joe Biden, but not give him credit for the goddamn eggs.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, but Fact Post is doing a great thing. If y'all are on Twitter, I don't know if they're on Blue Sky or other accounts. Make sure that you follow Fact Post News. But he said Joe Biden spent $8 billion on mice. And by the way, when he said, because apparently they lied to him. Look, I think this is how it happens, right? He doesn't read anything. He doesn't read any of the report. He doesn't read the Daily Brief. He barely pays attention in meetings. He's not somebody who listens. So when he's told about these things, I think they're able to easily manipulate him by giving him false information. So when they were talking about the transgender mice, what they really meant was transgenic, right? And they're talking about genes. They're talking about splicing genes in mice. It's the same thing that when he consistently talks about the fact that these Mexicans are coming from insane asylums. No, the Mexicans or any immigrant is looking for political asylum. It's different than insane asylums. These are where the things that they're easily able to manipulate him into just saying these lies because they give him this stuff and he misunderstands it because he doesn't understand he doesn't have the range. So I need people to understand.
It's because he's struggling with it's cognitive decline. That's what it is. That's why he keeps getting mixed up with the facts.
It's cognitive
decline. But you will not hear Katie Tur sit her sorry ass up on MSNBC and say a fucking word about it. Katie Tur sat her ass up there and talked about cognitive decline for 3 fucking goddamn weeks over the motherfucking summer in regards to Joe Biden, but hasn't said shit about it being something that's impacting and affecting Donald Trump. However, MSNBC gives her a full-time daytime slot with an extension.
I mean, but it's egregious though at this point. Like you want to talk about, what I fucking hate is the fact that people kept on talking about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. It was on every segment, and then they also talked about the fact that his handlers were covering it up and how malicious they were. Yet at the same time, you don't find it malicious that this man is standing up there talking about millions of people between the age of 150 and 300 years old are collecting Social Security checks. You don't find it egregious. You don't find it egregious that this man is talking about things that don't fucking exist. You don't find it egregious that J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson are right behind him looking mad crazy and smiling and laughing while he's saying these lies. And these people around him know that he's lying. These people around him know what the truth is. And they go with it for the get along to go along and to continue to deceiving people.
So thank you so much for mentioning Blue Sky twice tonight, maybe 3 times. I think it's Lakia, we love Blue Sky. We love Blue Sky. We love Blue Sky. Like Kamala loves good news. Here's the problem though. Blue Sky needs to who the hell see it? Like I put on something on Blue Sky, it say 1 view.
I guess
it's hard because the situation is we can't.
God damn it, I'm not you. I don't get but 1. But here's another problem. Not only do I only get 1 view on the damn Sky shoot, I don't know what it's called, Sky shit. I only get 1 view, but it only lets me post like a quarter of a video. We're sitting here making videos, and I can't post, but what the fuck? Blue Sky, buy some bandwidth. Let us donate to buy you some those machines or something that take a bottle of water for AI. Let us buy you some Blue Sky machines or some shit so we can post.
Wait, but I want to hear what Kenny had to say about them because I know you had a lot to say about the videos because the videos that you can only put a 1 minute long video.
That's the only problem that they have right now with Blue Sky. I mean, they're pretty much okay, it reminds me of Twitter back in the day when Twitter was Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is you cannot upload a full video, and we're literally not going on there because we're content creators. We make videos. So if you want content creators, you want heavy hitters to show up to your platform, you have to be able to gear or make a platform that's going to be able to utilize our gifts, and we're not able to do anything with Blue Sky. We can talk about it, but all I'm doing is this is my threads. Just in Blue Edition.
Yeah, it's right. It's basically Threads, but in Blue Edition. I agree. So one thing that we did last night.
Wait a minute, Zach. Why do you have me with my eyes motherfucking closed in this clip?
That's just the start of the clip. That's just how it works.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck else. I don't know what the fuck else you want me to do.
You were praying
let me tell you
before you
something.
talked to him.
Brian wants me to make sure that he looks great in every fucking photo.
That's right.
That's my job. I am a default editor. Just because we have no budget and can't afford shit. But that would be the job of somebody's paid job. I am not this man's handler. I am not Farnsworth Diddy. Slapping me around, treat me like shit, throwing me in the basement. I am not fucking Farnsworth. And that's not Cassie in the background. I don't know who she was, but she was a great content creator back there. Now, what we have here is an interview where Brian was interviewing Congressman Maxwell Frost. It was live. Brian, you were live streaming to what? Instagram?
Yes.
How many views did you get total? How many people tuned into you in live last night?
A total in live last night was about 1,000 people.
Right. But see, that's amazing. And so we're going to share this. And we have 267 viewers watching us right now. The majority of you are on Twitter. We want you to follow us on the YouTube. We're going to stop streaming the freaking Twitter soon because you know why. But hopefully this is going to play.
You were there in the chamber when everything was happening. Congressman Green stood up. Yep. He did what was right. And in solidarity, you all stood up and got out of there with him. Can you give me that? What immediate reaction?
Number one, I'm sure a lot of members in that chamber who've been around for a while, black members, had flashbacks to law enforcement and people coming up and saying, you have to leave this space you've been elected to. And so that's part of the reason we left. He's a member of the Congressional Black Caucus. We got to stick together. But I got to tell you, we were also going to walk out no matter what. Why? Because this is a billionaire takeover and coup of our country to pit us against one another as working people to benefit the billionaires. And we have to be against it. This isn't a normal speech. This isn't a normal time in our history.
Not a normal time in history.
Yeah, I was trying to mute because I started laughing when I was shaking my head because that looks like it's so Zacky. Oh, it did again. Hold on. It's going to play. Hold on.
We can't just sit there and do nothing. So whether it's holding signs, whether it's the walkout, whether it's boycotting or something, I think it's important that we act.
Yeah. They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education, food stamps.
Yep.
And they want to lie. I've seen some of your videos and some of your posts and you talk about it. There is no numerical way that they can cut $880 billion and say, well, we're not touching Medicare.
Oh, yeah. It's complete bullshit. They're touching Medicaid. Not only are they touching Medicaid, they're going to touch Social Security and Medicare. They're touching veterans benefits, all these things. And they have no problem lying to your face. I have a lot of people who say, well, Trump is a billionaire. Why would he need more money? Why would he need to do these tax cuts? How do you think he became a billionaire? Right. If you look at this over the last several decades, the tax rate of these billionaires has gone down and their profits have gone up. That gap is where billionaires are made. I have no problem with people building wealth. In fact, I want everyone to accumulate wealth, to pass it on to their children. I want everyone to own a home. But here's the thing. These people want us to think we have an abundance problem in our country. They want us to believe in a politics of scarcity. Oh, if you're getting something, I'm losing something. If that immigrant or that trans person has their rights, I'm losing my rights. It's all bullshit. But this is how the fascists and the billionaires take over and gain power. You are closer to being on the streets than you are to being Elon Musk. Right. But they make money from selling you this pipe dream that doesn't exist unless you're ready to exploit people to no end.
That's a line right there. You are closer to being on the streets than you are to being Elon Musk. Elon Musk has $500 billion in one person.
Yep. And his net worth has doubled just over the last year. Why? And right after Donald Trump was elected, because of his proximity to the president and because they know that he's in a position to get them more money. Who's them? Billionaires and corporations. And it's been this way for generations.
Yes.
Nothing's new, but now it's so blatant in front of us that now it's forcing people to wake up.
Can I talk about this? You were in committee, and they tried to shut you up when you were in committee. When you were talking about, they were trying to shut you up and trying to strike your words from the record. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I wanted to talk about Trump's grift. Right. Not only the fact that he's selling products in the Oval Office to personally benefit himself, But I wanted to talk about this meme coin he has, because a lot of people started past this. Trump started this meme coin after he got elected.
I was telling
He's
Kenny to
made
come on
tens
into
of
the
millions of
camera. He
dollars
said
from
no.
it. And now anybody in the
Yeah.
world can load tens of millions of dollars into this meme coin, give him money directly, and guess what? We'll never know about it. Why? Because it's anonymous. And it's unregulated. Look at the fact that a billionaire just gave him $75 million into the meme coin. And just a week later, a federal investigation that was looking into him disappeared. Corruption in broad daylight.
Right. You want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just here to get all of it so it can be on the book.
We're going to feature you on the show tomorrow when we do it live. Talk a little bit about like the craziness of Republican leadership is telling their members not to go back to their districts and talk to the constituents.
They're scared of the people. And guess what? This happened last time he was in office. And you know what happened? When election time came, all those people were voted out. And I think the same thing is going to happen. Now,
Do it again.
Do it again. Now, I'm saying we got to wait 2 years to do something? No. We got to do stuff now. Obstruct, delay, fight, protest, litigate, everything. Walk out, boycott, whatever it is. You got to do everything at the same time. Yes, we don't have all the power we want right now. But when you don't have all the power you want, you use all the power you got.
Yeah.
That is the assignment until the midterms.
Yeah, and here's the other thing I want to make sure that the people are clear about. Is you went viral for going to the Treasury Department, to the different departments. You went to the Department of Education. You were there to oversight because they weren't allowing you in. You are a member of Congress, and they wouldn't let you into the building.
Yep, exactly. And
Remember the oversight.
yeah, and I'm a member of oversight. They wouldn't let us in. And why did we keep pulling up to these buildings even though we knew that they were going to lock the doors? Because we got to show people what the hell is going on. We can't assume that everyone's paying attention. You know, that's the problem. So sometimes Democrats, we only want to talk to people who consume news as a hobby. Not everyone's doing that. Sometimes you got to pull up to the place.
Yeah.
And you got to get the content out there to show people, look at what's going on in this country. Elon's allowed in, but not a member of Congress.
Right.
And that wakes people up. And people don't like corruption, no matter what party you are.
That's right.
And this is the most corrupt, I think, or in the history of our country. This is what's going on now is worse than Nixon, right? Like this is real money transfer, not from the wealthy to the poor, but from the poor, the working people to the wealthy.
And Elon is not even Senate confirmed. He doesn't oversee.
And here's the thing, they gave him this designation called special government employee, which is usually used for a president to bring in advisors, not for this. And this designation allows him to get around a background check, get around ethics, which means that there's really nothing legally keeping him from the conflict of interest that exists, because they're misusing and abusing this. So something I've told a lot of my Democratic colleagues is we got to keep a list and start writing bills that would fix all these, because there's some things he's doing that technically could be allowed under the law. We need to get these bills writing. And when we're in the majority, we need to get them passed. Because here's the thing.
In 2 years, 2028 people.
A lot of times, people will say, well, the Democratic Party, the problem is just the communications problem. And I think that's part of it. We've got to fix our comms. But I think it's also a doing problem.
Yeah.
And I think people have woken up to see when we're in power, we got to do everything we can to fix this, the institution of democracy. But we have to show people we're willing. He's fucking shit up for the billionaires.
Right.
We got to say, we'll fuck shit up for you.
Right.
In the right way.
I agree.
And that's the message we got to take out there. So I appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Last question.
Oh, yeah.
What is, if you look right into the camera, what is your message to the Trump administration, to the Musk administration?
Stop messing with our people. Stop stealing from our people, and resign.
That's right.
Resign.
Right there.
Because I'll tell you, if it keeps going this way, I wouldn't be surprised if that dude gets impeached again. I'll tell you. If
You think Republicans would vote with you all?
He got 4 years in office.
Yeah.
Things will change in 2 years.
And it's up to the people to make them vote with the Democrats. And that's where your work comes in. If you are in a state where Republicans have been elected to anything, it is your work, it is your job to apply pressure, to call, and to push them to do the right thing for the American people. Democrats are not the only ones that should have principles. Democrats are the only ones who should be fighting for the American people. It's across the aisles. They serve us. They work for us. They work for you. Make them do their jobs.
Congressman Frost, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You was
I mean,
preaching on the
yeah.
end right there.
Yeah. Sue Foley Ferguson is here. Baby, I don't know how you got here, Sue. Let me tell you something, girl. This ain't no spaces. This is a live. So we're live on the YouTube, but we're also streaming to the Twitter currently because we have people there who really like to watch it on that platform. But it is not so I don't know how you got here, but that's what it is.
No. But I will say,
live clip, and now we're back. Now we're back in our houses.
Let me say this to her point. The reason why she's saying that is because when you go live on Twitter, it comes up as if it were a space. So, but let me say this. So
I was just happy to because Sue was like, what the hell? Is this live?
Yeah. Look. That was a great moment. I had not had the chance to watch that back because that was on the Instagram live last night. But that is a great interview, and it shows how
you did a great job. You did a great job. That was a good interview.
Maxwell Frost really was the one who really brought that message down to together, right? When he's talking about all these different pieces, like from his censorship, right? Like and I'm talking about censure, not censure, but censorship when he was in committee and they wouldn't let him speak. And they wanted to strike his words from the record. Did y'all see the viral video that was going around today? Ayanna Pressley was trying to introduce some articles into the record while she was sitting in committee, and they would not let her read it because the article's name was that there is more research that shows that Americans commit more rape than immigrants. And Comer, who's the head of that committee, would not allow her to introduce the name, would not let her read the name of the article. He's like, okay, it's introduced. All right, let's move on. What's your next article? And she's like, I haven't even introduced it. Let me follow the procedural route to do this and just say the name and introduce it into the article. But the other thing was she also talked about the fact that she, as a member of, she was a victim of sexual assault herself. She also wanted to be able to speak that truth to power in committee and introduce that in there. So I wanted to uplift that because I think it was super important to have that, to highlight that part. But I mean, it shows the range in his messaging, right? Like from that point to them trying to steal billions of dollars and looting from the American people, like that. It spans, right? And you have like even from the point of. You saw what Donald Trump was saying and putting out that tweet and attacking for the First Amendment right and freedom of speech on college campuses. The reason why that's so important is not because he can actually go to college campuses and make sure that they expel students. No, it is a test. It is a litmus test to find out how far he can get away with restricting freedoms of speech beyond college campuses and in real world and real time. So it's super important that we're looking at all these different power grabs, and the fact that we have such amazing Congress people who are able to speak that truth and speak to that range, I think is great.
I agree. We are at the hour. So one thing that I'm going to try to do is respect the time. We could talk all day, but we're going to try. I know you both are tired. I know you guys are tired. You know me. I mean, I'm tired, but I'm kind of not.
You can go. You gotta.
I can go. It's a muscle. Stamina is a muscle. I built that muscle by a lot of long ass hard work. One thing that's been brought up is a really good point here is talking about, the upcoming special elections. I have an opinion on that. I want to say this. Yes, Democrats can win those special elections. Yes, Democrats should try to win those elections. Yes, Democrats should give it all they got, but Democrats are unlikely to win it. And you need to know that. Doesn't mean you don't fight for it. Doesn't mean you don't give your best shot. But let me tell you what I'm afraid is going to happen. Democrats are going to very likely lose those red seats. It's not like they opened up where it was their battlegrounds. New York is closer to being one than the seat open in New York from at least Stefanik. But the reality is not at least Slotkin, who doesn't, I guess, exist. But the reality is those seats are very likely to go to another Republican because Republicans in this country are not having high disapproval ratings of Trump. Trump's approval rating is low across the country, but it's still in that 50-ish range, 45% disapproval. Not even consider how many people didn't actually vote, to me isn't something that is like a point of pride. When I see the Republican disapproval rating go up, when I see the Republican approval rating of him go down, that's when I will feel as though progress is being made to help the American people understand the damage of the administration. Right now, that's not happening. I believe that those 3 seats are destined to be Republican. Doesn't mean we don't fight for them, but I don't want us to, one, get our hopes up, or two, feel as though someone didn't do something they should have done. Because that's going to be the narrative on social media. Let me tell you right now, before it even starts, the mainstream media and the political pundits and all the assholes at Politico and every dumbass place else will come out of the woodworks. The Democrats lose again. The Democrats fucked it up again. Democrats lost 3 swing states. If the I was going to say a bad word, a wrong word. I'm sorry, Florida. I'm sorry. So I was going to call you a bad word. If the fine citizens of the Sunshine State will elect Matt Gaetz, knowing the things that he has done and been accused of and involved in, and reelect him with everything on the line, you mean to tell me you don't think they're going to vote for a Republican just to have a Republican in that seat?
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. If the accusations of paying underage teenage girls for inappropriate activity cannot get you out of office, I don't know what can.
Yeah. No, I've heard
I
that
mean, look
argument. Go ahead, Kenny, because you made a video about
No,
this, and I love
I was
it.
just say, look. I was just look who's in the Oval Office right now. I mean, this is literally who they represent. But again, like I've said, a lot of people are gonna have to feel it to believe it, and that's literally just the sad, unfortunate truth. This isn't our lesson to find out. And I know a lot of people say that they don't like that fuck around, find out hashtag, but unfortunately, this is literally what it is.
I like it.
I'm not telling people not to try. I'm not telling them not to try. I'm just saying, don't get your hopes up and then get crushed. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, here's my thing. I think I'm talking about me. All right. I'm speaking about what belongs to me. And what belongs to me is can't nobody motherfucking crush my motherfucking spirits. I think getting your spirits crushed is a motherfucking choice. And I choose to y'all call me optimistic. I choose to live my life in a way that says, hey, look, the reality is the reality, and we could lose it. We can, but we put it all on the mat. This is not foreign to me. When Stacey Abrams was running for governor in 2021 and I went balls to the motherfucking wall and I left it all on the motherfucking mat, y'all both know that I left it all on the mat. And even when the cards were not showing, what did Donald Trump say? You don't have the cards. They're eating you like a dog. And people told me, well, Stacey Abrams is going to lose, man. I don't know if she has it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm fighting for the first black woman governor in the South. God damn it. And I fought. And I left it all on the mat. And when she lost, a lot of people in the comment section tried to come and troll me and say, well, we fucking told you she wasn't going to win. And da-da-da. And the MAGA people and the white motherfuckers. And I said, you know what? That doesn't do anything. I'm not surprised. I'd left it on the mat. I'm fine. Same thing when Kamala Harris was running and we left it all on the mat and we put it all out there. They trolled us no matter fucking what. But I was comfortable with leaving it all on the mat and doing everything that I could. Same thing now. Gaye Valamont. That's my girl in my head now. Motherfucking Gaye Valamont, who's running for that district at Matt Gaetz. You have the seat for Elise Stefanik in New York. You have another seat in Florida. I understand. 2 in Florida. I understand the argument. They voted for somebody who was a sexual predator, alleged sexual predator, and those Republicans voted Republican no matter the fuck what. There is 100% reason to distrust people who have never voted against, who consistently vote against their own self-interest. I understand that. And guess what? Even with that, my ass is leaving it all on the motherfucking mat. Let's do it. And you know who really gave me a lot of inspiration last night? Jasmine Crockett. I watched the clip because she was going around the room. They asked her that same question about those special elections, and she said, we try again. And I completely understand that because look, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And for me, I'm gonna leave it all on the mat. I'm gonna support, and look, if we get them, we get them. And we see some of these districts that are plus 20 for Trump. And we saw that in the very local elections, and they flipped for Democrats. You saw Alabama, in Alabama, a Democrat ran and said on abortion rights and flipped that seat. So for me, Personally,
Doug won. Oh wait, you talking about Doug Jones when he won?
no, I'm talking about it was a woman candidate and she was running during the actual general. But the whole point is that I think that and look, it's very different. Like some people, and I hate that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it. When it comes down to sexual assault and sexual predators and stuff, it's clear to me that the Republicans have no damn moral high ground that they've consistently said that they have. But it's different when your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education, and food stamps is on the line, and people care about their pocket. I know, I understand, but I'm saying that I think it's very different, and we see that with some of those other very local elections. So we're gonna see.
I hope so. Let me tell you one thing that this was a piece of content that I was just mulling over my head. It was that, and it really is gonna, you motherfuckers rich. You motherfuckers rich. You sat here and said the price of eggs was too high, and now that the eggs have tripled from what they were, you're not saying a thing. You're just buying eggs.
Mm-hmm.
You
it was never about no eggs.
$35 insulin, and now it's gone back up to $1,000 and crickets. So, do these Republicans really?
We're gonna see.
Are they like I'm saying? Like, is it really affecting them? I don't know. So I'm torn because I'm not hearing that verbiage. It was never about the price of eggs. It was never the price of insulin. It was all bullshit and lies that we shouldn't have probably fed into, but we probably fed into it too much. And now it's like, oh, I'm happy to buy my Trump eggs. Like eggs, Trump. It's a little orange egg in this motherfucker. Orange chicken in here. I'm happy as can be. I do believe to keep hope alive, but I also believe in being proactive in the messaging. That's all I'm saying is that they already have a message prepared to hurt us. I want us to have a message prepared to fight back. That's always my way of looking at it. Like, I'm not saying they're going to lose, but I think they will. But if they lose, we need to have a message that protects the party from the media damage because it was an unfair expectation in the first place.
Right.
I mean, that's why I said I don't think that they should even invest anything in these districts. I feel like they're setting themselves up for failure. Oh, let's try. So that way that the media could flip it on them and say, oh, well, they lost. To Zach's point, what I think that they should be doing is taking the money and all the resources that they have and looking for these districts, particularly people of color that are in red and vulnerable districts that have been left behind. What was the doctor that was running, the only Black woman that was running for DNC chair? She was talking about going to the South and reinvesting in a lot of these places that are heavily populated with Black and people of color. That's what needs to be happening. We need to build an infrastructure to reinvest back in these forgotten communities and people who have literally decided to check out of politics. Those are the people that we need to be taking this time and reaching out for. There's no hope for them white trash in Florida. And I'm going to say it right here, and I'm going to go ahead and go on record. White trash, fuck Florida. If you can find any districts out there that are heavily populated, Dade County, all these other places that are fully Black and people of color, then sure. But I have no hope. I looked at the district, 71% white trash. Absolutely not. You're not going to win those people. It was never about the prices of eggs.
But here's why I disagree with that, because it really is damned if you do, damned if you don't. And what I mean by that is, if the Democrats don't pump in money into these special elections, people are going to say, well, you didn't do enough. How dare you? You didn't fight for democracy. If they do enough and they lose, oh, well, they're fucking losers. They shouldn't have put the money in there because they're not winnable. It doesn't matter. But here's for me the difference, that if you put the money in there and we take the wins, I'm not saying we're gonna. I'm saying, but if we do, then we at least have a way to fight back. We have a way to fight back with a bigger.
It's tough. I know, but I do agree with Kenny in not wasting money.
I see.
But on the other end of it,
they're not getting any money. Are you donating to Democrats right now? Everybody in the chat that said they're damned if you do. I want to know, Raphael, are you donating to Democrats right now? If you're not donating to Democrats right now,
I'm not donating.
I don't want them to waste their money.
Listen, I'm a donator. I'm not donating one.
I am not donating shit.
Do you hear me? I'm not giving.
I am not giving them shit.
Me. Don't email me no motherfucking more. I'm not going to in any way donate a dime or not donating a dime. I'm not, because what you do with my money? Okay, I'm giving money to people and causes. I I've been thinking about it just real quick on the spot. I gotta say that there is hope in all parts of the country for people to wake up and realize that the policies of the Trump administration are harmful to their lives. I don't care if the people in Matt Gaetz' district are voting Republican for any number of reasons, even including racism, because that's, you could think and believe what you want, but I don't care about that. But I have to also believe that people are going to, at the end of the day, care about self-preservation and survival. And it may not be yet. I don't think it's going to happen yet. It's not going to happen for this election. But I do believe that within the next 2 years, for the next congressional race, there will be people in America who are surviving, some even thriving, who are going to be at a point of economic collapse because our economy is being forced into a recession, by decisions that are happening on purpose that will make the rich richer and the poor poorer, and those who are, but even the middle class. When you're middle class, you're financially stable, but you're stable for several months, not several years. And I believe that more Americans, once they start to feel the little pain that Trump must talk about, I think that will spur them to action and vote. And I think that having a presence in those areas will pay off, but it's going to be a loss for a while.
Yeah, we'll
agree.
see.
Well, we got money. Okay, Ariel donated $25 2 weeks ago.
That's good.
We got the Gay Dating
What I
Coach to join us.
I ain't donated. Sure.
I'm sure you had a great show tonight to the Gay Dating Coach. We love him.
Yeah, shout out to Lamont.
Yeah, Lamont has some good people on this. It's a funny show. You should watch his YouTube people. You will laugh at some good gay dating. And yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. We got to water the garden. We will be back next week. And also, we're going to continue every Wednesday. We're going to be dropping other interviews. We got a lot of good interviews. We also open the floor up to any people that want to join us, congressmen and women who may also want to come and just talk to you. We're inviting them out. So we hope to have them here. And, really happy that you guys joined us tonight. Brian, Kenny, final words.
Kenny, let's go. I'll kick it off to you first.
All right. Final words is, everyone's please, if you don't know what's going on or you have questions, part of asking a question is also looking for the answer. And what we need you to do is actually follow your congressman, follow your congresswoman, follow your senator, follow your state councilman, follow them and figure out what they're doing to better serve you and your community, because they are putting in the work. You just got to pay attention.
I agree with that. And Representative Lauren Underwood told me that as well. She was just basically saying, a lot of folks hear from folks who are not even in their district, right? So it's important to follow the person who's in your district so that you're very well informed with who and how they're fighting for you and what they're saying. That way you get the information from them directly. I would also say I want to give a shout out to, again, Representative Lauren Underwood, who this was a lot of her brainchild to get us together and put us in this space where we were going to amplify the words of our Democratic leaders. And on top of that, I will say, there's going to be much more information to come, and there's going to be much more content to come as it relates to uplifting and amplifying this message. Look, we said we were in it for the long haul. This wasn't going to be just the election was going to happen and we were going to run away, right? And then we were going to turn our backs and we were going to continue. We're going to continue to fight. And part of the continuing the fight is to getting in these spaces, but it also means making sure that we just give it to your ass every fucking week. So every week, Wednesday night, we'll be back. Right, fellas?
Yeah, every Wednesday. You'll be every Tuesday.
I'll be every Tuesday. I'll be here on Tuesday.
Brian drops a video every Tuesday. He does a live or a pre-recorded video. I'm going to be doing every Tuesday as well, but it'll drop in the morning because I recorded on a Monday. But in addition to all content throughout the week, Kenny, we cranking him up, y'all. We getting him ready. We getting Kenny ready to get that.
Look, I'm already on E right now, and I'm still dedicated coming tonight.
That's right. I was late tonight.
Listen, y'all, I'm about to it'll take me probably an hour to get myself together and pack. And then I'm going to drive 30 minutes to very far north Atlanta because I have to work in that area tomorrow. But because of how traffic is in Atlanta, I just got a hotel for the next 2 days because I have to be in just simply 30 minutes from my house. But I don't want to be late. I want to make sure because you never know what could happen. So I just want to be on time and be rested and ready to go to start an 8 o'clock day. So I'm about to get in the car and drive. I will maybe 2 o'clock. I'll hit the hay and they'll be up and ready to rock at 7. So I guess my closing words is just thanking you guys for watching us, thanking you guys for being here with us. It's a labor of love, a passion project. We do it for you, but we're glad that you're here with us. It is going to be a long, hard 2 years. It's a climb, but at the end of that climb, we can have a change slowly begin to happen that can hopefully break us through to 2028. Donald Trump isn't going to run again. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. The bad part of it is that, he really doesn't have any accountability at all, not even to the American people, because he doesn't really probably care what the American people think. And that's why it's so important to put the onus of what he is doing on the Republican Party, because some Republican will run, and those Republicans are responsible. I urge all of us to just really be careful in assigning Elon Musk power that he doesn't have, because he was elected by no one. This is not an oligarch. It's just oligarchy. It doesn't matter how much money he has. It doesn't matter that the wealthiest man in the world is currently calling America home. He is not our leader. He is not our ruler. He has no power. He has no power other than the power given to him by the president of the United States, Donald Trump. So everything that is happening now is the responsibility of Donald Trump. We have to continuously say that in our messaging, but Donald Trump is the result of the Republican Party. Put the blame where it really belongs. With that being said, everybody, good night, and we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Bye, y'all.